Look,
feel it.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it, coach.
But when you start like this, it just keeps wanting to
Dude,
drop.
I totally did it.
Okay.
I was strong angling. Okay, so we are going to do some more nervous system training, and we're going to work a bunch of different circuits with Dr. Lyneil. We're going to start with some foot exercises utilizing the balance disc. Now, I'm familiar with these versions of the balance disc, and we got these other two versions that I'm a little unfamiliar with, which should be pretty exciting. Okay, so we're gonna hit these discs now. Are we going from one to the next to the next? Everyone's doing this all at once. What are you thinking?
I figured we could try whatever we wanted to try. I think trying the different movements on the disc to get some feedback and get the activation would be good.
Okay.
Right? Let's do 2 feet just so you can get a good feel, right? Because you got to kind of find where you're at. It's almost the same thing as like on the pipes. You want to like kind of splay your toes out like that and get that pressure so you know where it is. Yeah, good. So then I would just do the twists first, actually. So just so you get a feel for them.
I guess.
Yep. Good. Chest up, eyes up, parade up. And I always tell people you want to be in this position where you feel like you can jump, right? Because we're trying to get that functional transfer. So again, this is the difference between thinking about doing an exercise versus a pattern, right? In all patterns, we're trying to focus on switching directions, right? And so every functional human movement is about switching directions, one way to the other. It doesn't matter whether we're throwing or whatever it is, right? So we always want to be in this strong angle so we feel like I can move and do whatever I want at any moment. Let's go to 1 foot. Yeah, try 1 foot rotations first.
Okay.
I would also come up because you're a little taller. Let's grip a little bit higher on the sticks. These are here for stability and balance, but people will put all their weight onto the sticks and they're holding on, hanging onto the sticks to the point where like their grip is getting so tired. They're just here to keep you stable, right? And to give you a reference point. So you shouldn't be gripping them to death, basically. So I want my belly button and my feet to go to the same position. Good, yeah. Yeah, it's hard, right? We have a little bit of a foot fetish in this system, right? We get a little bit what we would call ankle dominant. One of the things that Quentin and I have been talking about on the podcast are these dominance patterns that happen where you can be ligament dominant or you can be side dominant, you can be quad dominant, but you can also be ankle dominant. And so sometimes we end up focusing too much on the ankle and what the ankle's doing and not connecting the whole leg, right, to the foot, and that motion should be traveling up through the hips. So if you're doing it right, you will feel muscles burning the whole way. It shouldn't just be in your foot unless your foot is really weak, and then that becomes the hard point to differentiate it. And people will always ask, like, where am I supposed to feel this? And I always say, usually you feel it where you're the weakest. Yeah, you really have to think foot placement, then turn, right? This balance is tricky because we can get good at the thing that we practice. We can get good at the pattern that we practice. Now the question is that transferring to other things? And so basically the only way to know is if you try other things. So when we get stuck doing one thing, sometimes we get really good at that, but it's not quite transferring to the other things. But nope, don't reach, right? Now you saw that, right? So that's the tendency, right, is to want to reach across the body, but now I actually haven't moved my position in space anywhere. The way to move is to turn, right? So now I can turn and move my body, but if I reach like this, my center of gravity is back here. So that's the hard part about this. I need to bring my center of gravity over top. Now you understand why Quentin was having such a hard time. There you go, there you go. Now you found it, right? Could you jump? Right, and we can also do some baby squats on here, so just some like mini squats, right? Yep, and that helps to teach how to stabilize. But you can even see with this, you're still favoring your left side, right? You got a lot more weight on your left side, but you have enough to you're able to balance. And this is one of the reasons for the up squat, because we can do these exercises and still not be bilaterally integrated, right? And you look like you're you're doing it right, but you still have 50% of your weight on your left side, right? And that's one of the problems with squatting in general, is that we tend to favor that side dominance. Much better, yep. And again, throughout the motion, you want to be thinking, could I jump? Could I change directions? Could I throw a punch? Could I throw a kick, right? Could I take off and run? Particularly before I do any agility drills, one of the things that we think about all the time is what's happening below the waist, right? But we don't think about what's happening in the upper body when we're doing running or any type of movement drills. And so I always want the arms syncing up with my movement. Just like we're in striking, it would be like striking and you're not thinking about what's happening with a part of your body. It doesn't make any sense. So it's the same thing with running or doing agility. So what we'll start with is basically we do these arm drives, and one of the things that you're trying to do is basically keep your elbow from extending. And so we're just here and we're just gonna move the arms back and forth, and then we're gonna add it into these. Have you seen me doing these step drills?
No.
Yeah, so they're kind of soft. but people struggle with them, so we'll see how it goes. So the first thing, nice and easy, all you're gonna do is stand nice and tall and find your, I got my chest up, right? My head's over my shoulders. I'm focused on keeping my knees in line with my toes. And then all I'm doing is positioning my upper body and moving my arms back and forth. So you're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're gonna go 5 slow, 5 fast. We're gonna do that 10 times.
Okay.
Okay, so.
Okay.
And then you're gonna pick it up. So try, what we don't wanna do is start coming like this though. We're trying to stay out here, right? So I wanna make sure that my hand's not traveling across the midline, so definitely not crossing. We're staying here. If you keep the elbow in the right position, it just naturally wants to stay through that corridor. And then think about, use those scapula, right? There we go. See how he's getting that little bounce in the scapula now?
Just go as fast as I can.
Yep, so you go 5 smooth, right, and then 5 faster. Doesn't have to be as fast as you can, right? It doesn't have to be at the speed of sport.
David Weck would love this.
So and it's about staying loose, like same thing, I want to throw a punch, I don't want to be stiff, right? So I'm staying here and it's, yeah, and kind of my job, right, is I work with guys like Quintin that do all this type of stuff, and my job is to be like, oh, you think you're athletic? All right, well, try this stuff, right? Like, the more simplistic it is, the easier it is for him to feel his compensations and weak spots, right? The more complex that it is and too fast, you can't figure out what you're doing wrong, right? So when we go through the step over position, what I want you to think about doing is you're trying to pull your calf to your hamstring, boom, step over, step over, step over. But when it happens, the motion's coming from here. Yes, like that, yep. So why that's important is because a lot of times if you're not engaging your hamstring when you're picking your foot up, your hip flexor engages, right? So now I'm lifting with my hip flexor instead of pulling up through my hamstring. Right, and again, just like on those discs, when I'm doing that turn, my hamstring is what picks my foot up, right? Sometimes we just don't think about that. It's one of the reasons why the hamstring's so important with knee issues, because when we can't get our range of motion back, the hamstring's not firing in that range correctly. So then we go to do all these running drills and the hamstring's not doing what it's supposed to do, which again, this is what this is supposed to mimic. So now we're gonna go up and back. There you go, yep, like that. That's it, yep, good. Nice breathing. See how he's breathing so well? That's such a big component to this. Good, control your head a little bit more, don't let the head bounce around. Oh, good. A big part of my philosophy too, and a lot of this comes from physical therapy, is if you can't do this in this less dynamic, less chaotic scenario, what's gonna happen to your kinetic chain when I throw you out here and you're running around and spinning around, right? You're just gonna leak. So we need to make sure that we can do things efficiently from an easier position and then increase the intensity or the demand. Part of the reason I like working on those arm mechanics and those agility drills, because when we come over here, it's the same thing, right? So every time I go to shift my weight on here, I want my shoulders doing the same thing. Now the cool part is this naturally wants to make you do the right thing, right? If you stiffen up or do this, it just doesn't feel right. So this should be very fluid and relaxed. So you're basically just doing the same thing. So all you're gonna do is weight shift, right? And again, you gotta be careful pushing with your feet. So if you watch me, right, what a lot of people do is they push like this, and you can do that, right? But the pushing is coming through my hips. So when I switch, right, my leg is pushing down, and then I'm switching and I'm taking the weight off. So you could do this. Isn't there that dance where we, right? But that's a lot more of what this soft stuff is like, right? The basic idea is I'm trying to move and keep my center of gravity with me, and I'm staying in an athletic position. Again, I should be able to feel like I could jump and change directions at any time. Xander, you're gonna do this too.
2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
If my center of gravity is traveling onto the box, there should not be a reason I'm kicking it.
Okay.
That's a sign that you're doing it wrong, right? So if I keep going like this, it means I'm pushing backwards instead of moving myself in space and landing on the box light, right? There should be no push
Sliding.
off, right? This stuff's important because people do these drills and they just do them, and then they wonder why they're not transferring. So just stop for me for a second. So what I want you to think is land on the box, right? Not to the box. So pick your feet up and land on the box. Sometimes you actually have to exaggerate your foot pick up to make sure that when you come down on the box, you're coming down on it. There you go. There you go. Nice. Use your arms, use your arms, use your arms.
Okay, Xander, knees up, knees up, knees up. A little too much knees.
Brock, you going again, buddy?
There you go, soft toes.
One of the truths behind this, right, is that a lot of times people will only lead with their good leg, or they don't even think about changing their lead leg. And so you need to be ambikinetic and switch sides. So if I'm gonna go 5 on my right, I wanna make sure I go 5 on my left. And again, I wanna be connected to the feeling on what's going on between both sides. Oh. Get those arms going, you're starting to cheat now.
What do you mean I'm cheating?
You're just holding your arms down at your sides.
You want me to pump them?
Oh yeah. You always want to kind of start with them up, right? If I start with them up, they have a tendency to stay where I want them to stay. But if I start with them down, they start going all over the place.
Keep wanting to do a different pattern when I do that.
You see how he wants to keep breaking this? This right side wants to drop every time, right? And it's just habit, right? So, and again, what I usually teach people to do is just start here, because you can feel it.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it, coach.
But when you start like this, it just keeps wanting to drop.
I totally did it. And everyone,
Right?
shoot that on film at least.
He had it.
I was I was strong angling. I was soft, strong angle.
You can even hear my cadence is different on that side. Like, that's another thing that you can use to listen. These were designed from the same principle as the heavy rope jump rope, where we want to get some heavy resistance with an elastic stretch, right? Not just heavy resistance and not just an elastic stretch. So we see those, I think they're called domino or something, right? And it's real fast, right? And then we have these other ones where it's real heavy and you're picking them up and moving. These combine both And ultimately, again, what you're looking for is full integration of the body. So that you want to be in a position here where it's causing you to want to pull forward, but it's not so much where you're trying to lean backwards. And so basically then we just do our typical battling rope movements. You can go with this type of grip or this type of grip. I would say alternate it, right, and see how you feel with it. And then it's just
a freaking strength routine in himself carrying that.
I know, right? You could just sit here.
We were hiking the mountains. I had him strapped to my back there, so my feet were hurting the most out of the whole thing.
Oh, the next.
Especially when you have a foot fetish. Watch that camera as it under your head's in the way there. Xander, turn that camera a little bit so you can see him. Hey, record.
What's mommy doing? What are mommy and daddy doing?
What's she doing? What's she doing over there?
Oh man, let's blow your arms out.
Yeah.